Not every single relationship, friendship, connection, interaction is going to be 50-50, 100-100. Sometimes there's going to be a give and a take, that you show up for your friend, partner, acquaintance more than they show up for you. And you also do the same thing. You also show up for that person, whoever, put in, fill in the blank, and you sometimes show up for that person more than they show up for you. And I think we naturally think of what is equal is 50-50. But when you think about it, think of it as in money. This is how I kind of picture it. Equity versus equality. Someone who makes $100,000 versus somebody who makes $50,000. If they're like, yo, split the bill 50-50, that bill is going to be a lot more impactful for that person who only has that 50%. You know what I'm saying? Like that $50,000. And in comparison to like the other person, like, okay, let me retry that. A bill should not be split depending, like if somebody bought a $20 meal versus somebody who bought $40, that meal combined is $60. Equality would say each person would pay $30, but equity would say the person would pay for their meal is $20 and the other person would pay their meal bill $40. That's what I was trying to get at. And then it's the same thing for a relationship. Sometimes to make a whole, it is not 50-50. I think I listened to Your Rich Best Friend, Vivian. It was like on one of her clips. And it was talking about the difference between equity and equality and showing up for people. You can't give yourself 100% of the time and expect the same thing out of the other person. Because you guys have different skills, you have different abilities, and I think that's where it comes in, is when you help and take care of someone. As much as you help and take care of somebody else, let them take care of you, okay? And it's hard to let go of that control and to be okay with not being like, I have to help 110% and you don't have to do anything, because that will lead to burnout. That will lead to resentment. That will lead to a lot of pent up emotions that aren't needed, because you have certain gifts that are beautiful and amazing and that can help so many other people. And that goes for the same thing for other people around you. That they have beautiful, amazing, wonderful, talented gifts to give you, to help you out too. I think, for example, is I really like to give things to people, like to show people like, oh, I care about you, so I do this for you or that for you, or I give you my time. The one thing that I am not my very, English, yes, that is not my favorite, is doing long drives. I get so bored. I'm the type of person who gets very sleepy in cars because it's just so relaxing and you don't have to do anything, and just the motion of the car and everything like that. So I'm not the best. I'm a fine driver, but it's not my favorite, I should say, to drive long distances for more than an hour and a half, 2 hours. I know, very baby-esque. I've driven, I think the longest I've driven was 4 hours, in a span of 4 hours. But regardless, the person that I know will drive me those 3.5 hours, those 4 hours that sometimes I have to drive. And they like driving that far. And I'm like, it's fine, I can drive it, don't worry. And they're like, just don't let me drive. You know how much I like to drive, and just do your homework. And I'm like, okay, say less. But I think sometimes I feel like I don't give enough in friendships, and then I'm trying to catch up and try to find things that are even oh, they did this for me, oh, so let me pay for the whole entire meal, or this and this and this. But it's friendships, relationships, connections should not be kept on a tally. They shouldn't be on a line that says you have to do this because they did this for you. Because that's not fair to yourself. Because you wouldn't expect them to do that to you or for you, or have that tally of, oh, she did this for me, so let me do that for her. Because that's not a true friendship, relationship, etc. It's not. And things will just, it's a give and a take. It's genuinely a give and a take. And I think when I just see, like, in, like, relationships specifically, like, stereotypically, I'm talking about, like, a heterosexual relationship, that, like, the guy will always pay, or the guy will always drive, or the woman will always cook, or the woman will always clean. If that works for you in a relationship of whatever, that works for you. But sometimes the guy's gonna have to cook, or the more non-cooker is gonna have to cook, you know? And I think that's a give and a take. I think it's also very prominent in non-stereotypical relationships of the more mom figure works and the dad is the home caretaker of the kids and everything. And I think it's a give and a take. And sometimes when you can't show up, that's when they show up. When your significant other, your friend, shows up for you, and that you can lean on them in tough times. And I think that's kind of when you really tell that person that you love them and you care about them, is when you give that stuff to them. And I think it's really hard to be vulnerable on certain things of yourself that you don't want to give to another person because you feel like a burden. But when you are able to do that to someone and for someone, to show them that you are struggling and that you aren't 110% there, you are kind of letting them know that you trust them and that you value them and that you want them to take care of you as much as you want to take care of them. And I think that is so important in a relationship and in a friendship, because you get to know that person, you get to show them that you trust them. And I think that's one of the foundations of a friendship and any relationship is connection, communication, and vulnerability and trust. And you're not gonna go, you guys aren't gonna always be 50-50. Sometimes what is equitable is them showing up for you more than you showing up for them in that situation, because you might be down bad right now and they're like, yo, I'm fine, and so they take care of you. And I think that's when you need to let go and be okay with them taking care of you, because it's hard, especially when you're the type of person who's used to being super independent and you don't want to rely on other people to be dependent on. But sometimes we have to grow up and grow out of that old habit, because yes, you have gone through hard times alone. You have. We all have. But there's another part of your life where you're going to have that friend, significant other, whoever in your life who is able to help you get through that hard time together. And you know how hard it is to do it alone, so then why don't you open yourself up to another person, even though it's scary and you're scared of being vulnerable and them betraying you? But you also should remember, maybe you can open up, and so maybe it's not as bad as the first time that you experienced the pain alone. And just give it a shot, because I think every hard time in life you experience is leading you to somewhere else and somewhere better. And I think you just need to try something new, because honestly, is the old way that you've been living really working for you? Has it really been beneficial for the way that you've been living? Is it you more thriving? Is it more of you just surviving? Is it you just living and getting through it? I don't know. That's for you to answer. So I want to leave you with this. your friends to be there for you. Allow your friends into your life because you would expect them to lean on you when you're going through a hard time. And they are doing the same thing for you. Because this is super cheesy and cliche, and it's one of my sayings that I've seen. It's not my own, but I've seen. And it's like, friends, good friends, are like stars. You don't really see them in the sunlight. You don't see it when it's really warm and good and bright. But when you see them, that's when it's dark. Food for thought.